Hello boys and girls, hope you're all doing well and are safe and are enjoying your online classes. Today I am excited to come with a special EVS lesson to you, and that's about air, water and weather. This you can find as Unit 13 on page number 155 in your Learning Ladders textbook. If you have your textbook with you, turn with me to this page and you will find this chapter. Today we are going to look at weather. Now what is weather? If you are able to go out of your house or even look through your window, you will know what kind of a day it is. Is it a hot day today or a cold day? Is it a warm, cloudy and humid day? So that is what weather is. Weather is the condition of the atmosphere around us at a particular time. So weather keeps changing based on what region of the earth you are located in, and also it depends on the time of the day. So it changes from place to place, and also it changes even during a particular day. Our earth, as you know, has an axis. And is the earth straight on that axis? No, it's slightly tilted to one side. So the portions of the earth that gets direct sunlight would be hotter than the rest of the regions. The weather of a place is dependent on where its location on the earth is, and also about how much sunlight it's receiving during the day. So the mornings would be hotter, noon would be the hottest, and then evenings on it will get colder. The weather of a place keeps changing because of the movement of the air and the amount of water vapor that's in the atmosphere. First, let's look at air. Now, the air, when it moves, it's called a wind. Now, all winds are not the same. Some are gentle, some are very strong. So, the gentle winds are called breeze, and the strong, violent ones are called storms. Now, let's look at how the air moves. What causes the air to move? When the sunlight reaches the earth, it heats up the air. So what happens to the hot air? It becomes light, and when it is light, it rises up. When it goes up, the cool air from the surrounding areas come and take its place. So there is a movement of air that causes the wind. The hot air goes up and the cold air comes in to take its place. That is how the movement of air happens, and that is how wind takes place. Talking about wind, there are two types of breezes. One is called land breeze and the other is called sea breeze. So these two types of breezes can be experienced along the beach or the coastal areas. One thing you have to remember is that the land gets cooled down and heated up faster than water. So what happens during the day? The land gets heated up faster than the ocean. So the air that is above the land gets hotter than that above the sea. What happens to the warm air? It rises up, and then the cold air from above the sea rushes into the land. But that movement causes a breeze, and that breeze is called a sea breeze. So sea breeze happens during the day, where the breeze is coming from the sea into the land. Just the opposite of that is the land breeze. So during the nights, the land cools down faster than the ocean. So the air that is above the land is cooler than that above the sea. So what happens to the warm air or the hot air above the sea? It goes up. So the cooler air above the land rushes to above the sea, and that causes a movement of air, and that's called a land breeze. So a land breeze happens during the night, and that's when the wind blows from the land into the sea. Now let's look at water. What happens when the sunlight reaches the earth? It vaporizes the water in the water bodies, and some of it goes up into the atmosphere as water vapor. So the amount of water vapor in the atmosphere determines how humid that region is. The higher the amount of water vapor, the higher the humidity is. And as we already know, there are three forms in which water exists: solid, liquid and gas. Solid is ice, liquid is water, and gaseous form of water is water vapor. When water changes into water vapor is called evaporation. After water evaporates and becomes water vapor, it cools down to form tiny droplets of water again. So that is called condensation. We can observe this process of evaporation and condensation all around us. Let me give you some examples. If you were to boil some water in a pan, you would observe some steam going up. That is water turning into water vapor. What is that process called? Evaporation. After some time, you put a lid on top of that and you observe the lid after 2 minutes. You would see some tiny droplets of water on the lid. And why is that? It is because of condensation. When the water vapor touched the surface of the lid that is colder and condensed to form water. So you can find that water in the form of water droplets on the lid. How about finding some droplets of water on a cold bottle that is kept outside of the refrigerator? Have you noticed that? That is because the water vapor that is in the atmosphere condenses because of the coldness of the bottle. When it comes in touch with the cold bottle, it condenses to form tiny water droplets. That's why you find those droplets on the surface of a cold bottle. Another example I can think of is when you dry your wet clothes. What happens to the wet clothes that are put out to dry? The breeze helps in the evaporation of the water on the wet clothes. So when the water content evaporates, the clothes dry. Now let's look at the same phenomenon that happens in nature. When the heat of the sun evaporates the water from the water bodies, it forms water vapor, and the water vapor would be present in the atmosphere. After some time, when the heat goes down, what happens to the water vapor? It condenses to form tiny droplets of water, and these droplets come together to form clouds. So clouds would have dust particles as well. So that is how clouds are formed. After some time, the clouds become very dense and heavy and cools further to form water droplets to come down, fall on the earth as rain. Now that is called precipitation. So evaporation, condensation and precipitation together form what is called as water cycle, and that is a continuous process that happens. Water exists in different forms in nature. It's not that water only exists as liquid water. So let's look at some of those forms. One would be dew. Have you noticed these tiny droplets of water on the grass blades in the morning? Yes, that is called dew. Dew is formed when the water vapor in the atmosphere condenses to form tiny droplets of water and settles down on the plants or grass or even vehicles that are parked outside during the nights. In cold countries, these tiny droplets of water or dew on the grass and on the vehicles freeze to form solid particles, and that's called frost. The next form in which water exists on the earth is fog. How is fog formed? We know that water vapor condenses into clouds. When the condensation takes place very close to the ground, it mixes with the dust particles as well and forms a very dense cloud, and that is called a fog. Now when there is fog, it is not advisable to travel because you cannot see through the fog, and when you have to drive in fog, you have to put on the yellow light, which is the only way you can drive through a fog. And when the fog is very light, it's called a mist. Now that is pleasant. Hailstones is another form in which water exists on earth. What are those? Sometimes water drops freeze to form small ice balls. This is called hailstones. Hail can cause a lot of damage to crops and also even to vehicles. When ice balls fall on vehicles, obviously it will damage them. This usually happens when the weather is hot and during thunderstorms. The next one is snow. So when temperatures are very low, water vapor freezes to form ice crystals, which reach the earth's surface as snowflakes. They are light and very soft. When the snowflakes gather in one place together, it becomes snow. The basic difference between hail and snow would be that hail is formed when the condensed water droplets freeze to form ice balls, and snow is formed when water vapor directly freezes to form ice. Now let's look at an important topic, water pollution and purification. Drinking water must be clean and free from germs. There is no debate about that. Water for other purposes like bathing, washing vessels or clothes also should be clean. Although 3/4 of our earth is covered with water, only 1% of that is potable. Potable water is the only kind of water that is fit for drinking. And how does water get polluted? In different ways. Waste materials from houses, offices and factories sometimes get dumped into oceans and other water bodies. During festivals, we also dunk all the idols and other stuff into the water. We bathe ourselves, the cattle, we wash clothes, etc. in these water bodies. All of this will pollute the water. And it is very important for us to purify them and then use it for different things. There are different methods for the purification of water. We will look at 3 of them. The first one is boiling. This is the safest and the most common way of purifying water. Water is heated to a temperature of 100 degrees centigrade and disease-causing germs are killed in this process. So this is a very efficient way of purifying water if you have to use it for drinking. The other methods that are used in the water purification plants are sedimentation and filtration. In a water purification plant, there are large chambers in which water is stored. So in the first chamber, the heavy particles of dust and dirt would settle down to the bottom and there will be clear water on top. That clear portion of water will be passed on to the next chamber where there are layers of gravel and sand. So when the water again goes through these layers of gravel and sand, what happens? Whatever dust particles that is left on the surface of this clean water again will get filtrated. And in the final chamber, they will add chlorine so that the disease-causing germs would be also killed. And now this water is purified and can be used for different purposes, including drinking. Now let's look at the recall zone. Weather is the condition of the atmosphere around us at a particular time. Moving air is called a wind. Sun's heat causes evaporation and movement of air. Land breeze takes place at night and sea breeze in the morning. The process involved in the water cycle are evaporation, condensation and precipitation. Dew, fog, hail and snow are different forms of water. Drinking water must be clean and free from germs. Boiling, sedimentation and filtration are the methods to purify water. Then we have an assessment zone where there are questions. Answer those questions and that will make sure that you've understood the content that we just learned. Let's look at the fill in the blanks. Dash is the condition of the atmosphere around us at a particular time. Weather. Number 2. Water is purified by dash and dash. Sedimentation and filtration. Number 3. A strong violent wind is called a storm. Number 4. Land breeze happens during the night. Dash depends on the water vapor content in the atmosphere. Humidity. Number 6. During the dash, the land gets heated faster during the day. Excellent. Let's move on to the next exercise. Choose and write the correct option. Ice is a dash form of water. Ice is a solid form of water. Number 2. The water droplets on the outer surface of a bottle filled with cold water is due to, we know this, B. Condensation. Number 3. Dash helps to kill diseases causing germs in water. Is it boiling, filtration or sedimentation? As we know, filtration and sedimentation only takes care of the dust and dirt particles. What kills the disease causing germs is boiling. Number 4. Dash happens on a hot day during a thunderstorm. Hail. Number 5. Very slight fog is called mist. We also have a true or false section. Let's look at that. 1. During the day, the water in the sea gets heated faster. False. It's the land that gets heated faster than water. Number 2. Snow falls when the temperature is very low, below 0 degrees Celsius. That's correct. True. 3. Dew freezes and becomes fog. That's false. Number 4, chlorine is added to water to kill disease-causing germs. That's true. Number 5, ice on freezing becomes water. Is the other way around. Water on freezing becomes ice. So this is a false statement. There's an amazing activity at the end of the lesson, and that is to observe the dewdrops on the grass in the mornings. You could take nice pictures and share it with your friends and family. That's one. The second one is to collect pictures of dew, snow, hail, fog and frost from magazines and make a chart and display it in your room where you can see. That's it for today. I hope you learned a lot of interesting facts about air, water and weather. Have a nice day. See you soon.